Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. Dietitian Teresa here and certified personal trainer. I'm coming at you with a video on tips to help you reset and reflect coming into the 2025 new year and how to plan for fat loss success, especially in this upcoming year. Now, I don't truly believe in New Year's resolutions anymore, but I know all the hype and motivation that a lot of people get around January 1 of 2025. And a lot of times, even myself, I've been, having the high energy surge and then super high motivation on January 1. And you're like, oh, January 1, that's when I start making changes. But the reality is that you do not need to wait for January 1 of the next year to start making changes. You need to start today, right now. Just start with something super small and then get yourself going, because when we rely on motivation and just waiting for January 1 the next year, January the 1 the next year, how far are you actually getting with your goals, and how are you actually reaching any of the goals you set out to make on the beginning of that January 1 of the new year? So what I want you to really take into account is that this is something you can take with you if you're watching this even a month from now. Like, it's December 30th when I'm recording this, and even if you watch this in the middle of February and you're like, well, my New Year's resolution was a bust, you can still start in the middle of February. You can still start then. So take that into account, but this is really just to hit that high energy surge that I know a lot of you are having. And as this new year approaches, I really want you to sit down, reflect on your journey thus far to this point, and really let yourself reset your goals, realign, and figure out your true why and your true goals for why you want to lose fat in the new year and what fitness and health look like to you. So yeah, let's hop into the video and I will share some of my tips for you here. So first step here is that I want you to sit down, take time to sit down, take a notebook out, pen and paper, and I really want you to sit down and before putting a plan in place for your fat loss journey, I want you to sit down and review what 2024 looks like for you. Ask yourself, what were the really positive things that came out of your efforts this year? What were some wins? Think about habits or strategies that helped you feel healthier or stronger this year. What were some challenges that you had faced and what barriers got in the way? And how did you overcome them in your health and fitness journey this year? I want you to evaluate your work. How did work in your career impact your fitness goals, your fat loss goals, if you had them this last year? How did your family, like that integration of like your family and your health and fitness, how did that work out this 2024 year? How did you approach those? How did you make a decision? Was it always pushing a workout aside because something came up? Like, was just really evaluate what your 2024 looked like. And after you do this, then you can go into more of evaluating, setting goals, and establishing your true why on why you want to hop into a fat loss journey this year. This leads me into talking about writing down your why. And I made a video way early on. I will link it in the description below to have you just easy access to it, but to really establish what is your why going into wanting to lose fat this year. Sure, like it could be an aesthetic thing that you want to lose fat, but there's got to be something deeper. Because when I view fat loss to me is building muscle. And when we build muscle, building muscle is that longevity factor for our life. Like that's what I think everybody's striving for. We want to live a long, healthy life. We want a fiery metabolism. We want to feel good. We want to thrive. We want to feel really freaking strong in our bodies and be a good example for your friends, family, kids, and people around you. That's what I would want you to do for like that second step, is establish your why. Again, watch the video that I linked in the description below about like why power, how that can really change your identity, change your life when you have a stronger rooted why as to when you're going into a journey, a fitness journey. After you've established your why, I want you to go through setting a few SMART goals. Now, SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. SMART standing for all those words. So for example, I want to lose 5 pounds in 8 weeks by strength training 3 times a week and increasing my protein intake by 25 grams per day. Those are very specific things that you can achieve and take into account, like, oh, this is what I have to do. Also focus on behaviors rather than just outcome. What's the behavior? What's the process leading you up to that outcome? Now, instead of saying, I want to lose weight, focus on behaviors like, I will meal prep twice a week, or I will get 7 hours of sleep each night. That's a behavior change. And that's what the process leads to, losing the 5 pounds or decreasing body fat by 2%. We want to focus on a process-driven approach rather than just outcome-driven, because we can't rely solely on the motivation of the hype of losing 10 pounds. You have to rely on the hype of an everyday, through the ups and downs, and discipline, more discipline with yourself of like, hey, I can enjoy this journey, but I know I have to take it day by day to get to that outcome goal. Now, there is a really important thing of finding that, okay, fat loss goals. When you have fat loss goals, we need to be strength training. We need to be prioritizing fueling our bodies properly with enough food, and then also having enough sleep, stress management. And I've had videos in the past that talk about that fat loss and fitness aspect and how you can approach your journey to get some ideas. When you set these SMART goals, I really want you to think long-term, like a longer game, rather than just, 4 weeks, everything in my life has changed. Behavior change, lifelong habits do not work that way. If it took you 5, 10, maybe just a couple of years to get where you are now, don't expect it to change in 30 days. You really got to stick with daily habits and routines and build that trust, build that confidence in yourself, and be very adaptable and curious along the way so that you can continue to grow, and it's not going to be perfect. So emphasize on taking this approach for a longer term, especially with fat loss. Like, fat loss takes time, and it's gonna take time to feel and see those results. You just gotta stay committed. And that's why having that why before setting these SMART goals is so important, because that why power will keep you going when times get a little rocky. Now I wanna go into, okay, what's a tool that you can utilize for like the nutrition part? And I talk a lot about macros. Essentially, macros are your protein, carbs, and fats. And that's where in a fat loss journey, counting your macros and keeping track of like how much fuel are you fueling your body with can be a very, very useful tool. Is it the only tool that's needed? Not necessarily. When you track macros, you know if you're fueling your body enough, because if you're in too much of a deficit, then your body might not lose fat still. Macros is a great way to learn, how am I nourishing my body with the protein, carbs, and fats? And we really want a higher amount of protein. We want that moderate carbs, moderate fats in there to get that balance. And again, I've created videos in the past, so go check out my YouTube channel about macros. And I will be talking more about macros in future videos. But the main reason I like to use macros, because especially for the busy woman out there in your fat loss goals, is that it allows for flexibility, that you can still enjoy your favorite foods, going out, going to social occasions, going to games, but still hitting that outcome goal. But the process is including the macros. What I would encourage you to do is just download an app, like if you have MyFitnessPal or Chronometer, like either is fine. I use Chronometer, that's just what I'm familiar with, rather than MyFitnessPal. Just start tracking a week of your intake and just start logging in your food. Of course, I always say use YouTube. Like, if you don't know how to log something, just ask the question in YouTube or Google and it'll probably be on there. I will be having a macro course coming up in the near future for mastering macros for fat loss. So I really want to make this course, it's going to be a digital course, and I want to make this course really attainable for you and simplified so that I can take out the confusion with macros or any like fear or anxiety that comes with tracking macros. It doesn't have to be that hard. It just needs to, I think, needs to be taught in a more a simpler way, so in a fun way too. And I want that to make macros fun, simple, easy, and open up your options for going out and enjoying the process of your fat loss journey so much better, rather than thinking like, oh, macros are daunting or tracking is daunting. It's not. It's only used for a period of time. Macros are a great one. Again, look at my previous YouTube videos so that you can touch on that. So a little summary of what we talked about is sitting down, taking time to reflect on your 2024. Then I want you to go into establishing your why power and like, why are you in this? Why do you want to lose fat? So let's say you set out on a fat loss goal and you didn't expect to see the scale change as much as you wanted to, but your clothes are fitting better, you have more muscle mass, you have thriving energy, you're sleeping better, you are less irritable, you feel great. Would that be worth it to you? Even if you didn't see the scale budge, because I know the scale can pop in people's brains of like, well, if I don't lose this X amount of weight, might not, but your body composition is changing. So think about that one when you're going through your why power. The next thing is figure out like, what are those SMART goals for yourself? What are you setting for yourself on your journey here for fat loss? Then going into, okay, macros, check it out. I got some videos on it. What are macros? Just start getting familiar with it. Download the Chronometer app, start tracking your macros. Just start there and see what are you actually intaking for your body. All of that is just my tips for you to help reflect and reset into 2025. Again, doesn't have to start January 1, but the momentum's high right now. So, you know, start today if you want, or start even if it is in the middle of February when you see this video. Start then. So if this video resonated with you at all, I want you to take what you need, leave what you don't, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, and I really appreciate you hopping on here, taking time to watch this video, and I hope it helped. I hope you stay strong, stay nourished, and I will see you in the next video.